Hello, everybody. It's Donna Cravata with the Real 50 Over 50, and I'm here with Stephanie Dalfonzo today for our weekly interview. And Stephanie Dalfonzo is an integrative hypnotist, and she does a lot of other things too. So I am just going to hand it over to her and let her introduce herself, and then we've got some questions for her.
Oh my boy, where to start? So, how about if we start with move your bananas to the belt? To listen to your messages, press one. See, I know that'll make you laugh, Donna, because she knows the backstory of that. I literally was the very first automated voice back in the 1980s. Like, we had no idea chat GPT and all this technology. I was a radio DJ and I did radio and TV commercials on the side. So I did this move your bananas to the belt thing. And my husband traveled at the time. We lived in South Florida, in Miami, South Florida. And he would be up in Chicago in a hotel room. And do you remember before we had cell phones, he would pick up those germy phones in the hotel room, which I couldn't even, it skeeves me out even thinking about it. But he'd pick up the phone and he'd hear me saying, to listen to your messages, press one. So Donna has helped me to understand that that wasn't just then, that really is a part of who I am today. Because back then, my voice, this wonderful voice, which it was, it's a gift. It's not something that I, created. It's a gift that I have. And so I was able to use it for this really fun career as a celebrity radio DJ. And then for the past close to 20 years, I use it now to help people find their calm and to get to the root issue of whatever it is that's holding them back. And I
So
could
tell
keep
me.
going on, but I was trying to keep it short.
All right, well, first, I was in the supermarket yesterday, and what did somebody say right next to me?
Yep,
What
you
did
just
this what did the register say right next to me?
move your
Move your banana.
bananas to the belt, and you busted out laughing,
I
right?
started laughing. So, talk to me a little about the calm. What does bring the calm mean?
So bringing the calm is because, you know the story. I literally found myself in the 90s smashing the out of a bag of Cheetos because I had developed insomnia and couldn't sleep, which means I couldn't function. My kids were young. My son, the youngest, was still in diapers. Michael was traveling. And like anybody who's ever experienced insomnia knows, it's horrible. It is absolutely painful. So I did what most people would do. I went to the doctor. Great. I got a prescription, which worked for a short time and then didn't. We'll get back to that. But in that visit, the doctor said, well, the insomnia is because of your anxiety. I was like, what? I spent the first half of my life not realizing that I had struggled with anxiety my entire life. I thought it was normal to try and wear your shoulders like earrings and to worry, but not just worry about anything and everything. I always went to the worst case scenario. And so when the medication failed me, I started researching. And this was back in the 90s. It was, the World Wide Web was brand new. So I'm heading over to the local library to do research and I'm walking
Research.
out with very little and I'm walking out with cassette tapes, right? So, there wasn't Dr. Google to be able to just, right? So I started doing this research and I stumbled into hypnosis along the way, which was life changing for me and for all the people that I've touched since then. So it really became this mission for me that, okay, I realized, oh, okay, I struggled with this and I'm not alone. And so, again, I've been researching anxiety and sleep and how to, calm it all down for close to or over 20 years. I've been researching in business for a little over 20 years. But things have happened in the past several years which have taken our anxiety levels, not just in this country, but around the globe through the stratosphere. I think that when, just over 3 years ago, when the world, we didn't go into fight or flight. Collectively, globally, we went into freeze mode. And a lot of us are still trying to recover from that. All right. It was not just the pandemic, it has been the social and civil unrest here in this country. And, every day we're seeing stories almost every single day. This company is laying off tens of thousands, and this company is laying off tens of thousands. And I've figured out how we can get there fast. You know that I am not into, let's take a long time to try. It's like, forget that. Let's just, you want to find your calm, let's do it. So I really am more like, again, if you take it back to the voice metaphor, think about, I'm your GPS.
Yeah.
In 1,000 feet, prepare to turn left. Well, if you think about, I'm your GPS and I'm sitting in the passenger seat and I'm saying, prepare to turn left, I'm not reaching over and grabbing the steering wheel. I'm giving you that suggestion. And so that's what I do with my clients as well, where it's, okay, I'm not telling you what to do. Here's an invitation. And I think it's one you really want to accept, because I'm not offering it, thinking, oh, willy nilly. And you've really helped me to understand that I need to talk about this more, Donna, is that there's science behind everything I share. It's not me just, yeah, Benita, divorce rates skyrocketing. There's stress, on all levels. And it doesn't have to be this long, drawn out thing to find your calm. It really doesn't.
No, no, I'd love to share a story. So
Okay.
my son was probably around 12 at the time.
He was 11. He was 11. I know right where you're
11?
going.
Okay. And all of a sudden, he didn't wanna go to the dentist. Never had been an issue before, had always gone to kind and gentle dentists, never went to, Doctor Auschwitz, and, he just didn't wanna go to the dentist, and he needed braces, and I'm like, "Well, this is not gonna work because braces, it's like 5 hours in the chair to have those things put on and, like, visits, like, over and over and over again." So I mentioned it to Stephanie, and she said, "Bring him over." I brought him over. They spent a couple of hours together. I didn't know until I picked him up that they spent a couple of hours together just hanging out because it only took about 20 minutes.
Right.
And this kid sat in the chair and with feet crossed, arms at his side, totally relaxed, having braces put on a couple of weeks later. And I said to him, I was not allowed to know anything about the experience, but I just said, "How'd it go?" And he goes, "Oh," he goes, "Stephanie's got a spiritual wrench and she just sticks it inside you, turns it a few times, and then you're done." I was like, "Okay."
Right, from an 11-year-old. And what's so funny, Donna, is I know now he does not remember saying that. He's
He
like,
does not. He
"Well, I
doesn't.
didn't say that."
He
But
said, "I made it up."
right. But you and
That's
I
what
both
he said.
vividly remember that.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
the thing. That's the thing with what I do. And I've struggled for so long in trying to explain, okay, how do I bring this calm?
Mhm,
I do it by, first of all, it's heavily intuition. I have spent many years, many, many tens of thousands of dollars on trainings to hone my abilities. But I have this natural intuition where I know how to get there and get there quick. And
mhm,
so, yeah, you knew I was with your kid for several hours. You didn't know that it was just this amount of time where we were actually doing work. The rest of it was just hanging out and having fun.
mhm. Yeah,
And
and
whether it's with a kid or an adult, for me, it has to be fun, because if I make it this heavy, like, you're not gonna wanna come back. When I make it fun and, "Okay, let's let's do this and let's laugh along the way." By the way, all that laughter and when I drop F bombs, it's all intentional, because when I drop the F bombs, when I do really stupid shit, excuse me if I wasn't supposed to say that, I get you to laugh. And when you laugh, you're getting your body to produce endorphins and dopamine and serotonin, which are all the happy hormones. So nothing that I do is unintentional. Like, you might think, well, that was kind of weird, but it's all planned out, not planned out in advance, but just how I know in the moment. Okay, I need to poke you over here. It's kind of like, if I was sitting next to you physically and I reached over and I goosed you a little bit, you're going to laugh, right? And so
yeah.
then you've got those happy hormones.
Yeah, and I think that, you're making suggestions, and when those suggestions are received from a place of feeling light and feeling happy and feeling in like in an enjoyable setting, that's how they're going to settle in. They're not going to
Yeah.
settle in a heavy way.
Well, and, if I'm telling you, you have to do this and, here's your homework, I
Mm,
don't do that. I always say to my clients, "Okay, well, what I just said, and oh, so I'm going to extend an invitation to you. And here's my invitation for the coming week.
mhm.
You could blah, blah, blah," because then, there's no pushback of, "Oh, you're giving
Yeah.
me homework," right? But also, it's empowering because it is so important for me to empower you to know that you're the one who's making these changes, that it's not me with a magic wand. I literally, you saw I had this beautiful office for 10 years before I closed it to go virtual and go global. And I used to have this trick magic wand because sometimes, people think hypnosis and they're like, okay, wave your magic wand and poof, my life is going to be magically wonderful. So I would have this trick magic wand and, I would know once, they're in for less than a minute. I know, okay, they're looking for the magic wand. So I'd whip it out and I'd say, okay, abraca. And I'd do that. And then the whole thing collapses in on itself. And they
Mm,
would laugh. And then we could actually get down to the business at hand.
mhm. Yeah, and um, it's also it's there's no magic wand, and it's not a one and done.
Thank you, because a lot of people don't understand that because of, and yay to the stage hypnotist that when hypnosis was out of vogue, um, the stage hypnotist kept it going. But there's so much misinformation because of that, because people will hear, ooh, hypnosis, and they think that, ooh, I have control over them, or I wave the magic wand in one session and poof, everything's done. And I've experienced incredible situations where in one session, whoa, but we need the reinforcement to keep that going, right? I can help you have this miraculous experience in one session, but then if you just go back and you continue doing the old behaviors, what's going to happen?
Well, it's not just that, but life keeps throwing its shit at you, it doesn't,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
that's
it
that's
does.
for everyone. So you
Well,
really need to learn how to, adapt these tools that you share with people to be prepared for what's coming next, and you never know when that what's coming next is gonna trigger something from, like, your great grandmother that you just happen to carry along with you.
well, and for anybody who's listening, watching, who plays sports, whether if you're a tennis player, you're getting ready, you're prepping for when that ball comes at you. So taking that from off the court to the court of life, we have to be prepared and know that there's going to be a curveball coming our way. Like it's just part of the human condition. The thing for me, and this is where the gray, the lines. I've earned all of these. This is where the 50 over 50, the real 50 over 50 comes in, is that wisdom and that experience of, oh, okay, I used to react, react, react. And now for my own life, it's not just, me as the clinician, right? It's me, real life. Oh, I had to learn how to be prepared because I've gone, none of us get through life unscathed. None of us get through life without having curveballs come. We get to live like an exemplary life when,
Mhm.
regardless of what's going on around us, we can still find that balance, that calm, and
Yes.
joy. This, by the way, was a gift from Donna from years ago, and I keep it
Years ago.
right there to remind me all the time that I get to choose joy.
Yeah, it is a choice. Everything is a choice, and, um, this brings me to your gratitude practice. I know that this is a really big part of your life and your day and, how you approach everything. So share a little about how that has how that's come into your life and the impact that it's had.
Thank you for giving me that validation because to hear that from you, really touches my heart because, you know, I- we know things from the inside, right? We don't know things from outside. So when I hear that from you, it really helps me. It reinforces that, okay, it's not me just, yammering on about this, but that you actually see that it is such an integral part of who I am and what I believe in, how I live. And it is the foundation has to be gratitude. And that means being grateful regardless of what's going on. I invite, again, extending the
Mhm.
invitations, I invite my clients to start the day with a gratitude practice. And I would extend that invitation to each and every person who hears this, that start your day with gratitude. That means before your feet even hit the floor, think of three things you can be grateful for. And I would highly recommend, if that's all you can do, that's a great start. If you can put some paper and a pen next to your bed and hand write it instead of tapping it on a keyboard. If you hand write it, you're getting it even deeper into your brain. So you want to wire that in so you can start these new neural pathways. And I'll just touch briefly on what that is. It's neural pathways are whenever we experience anything in life, first time, there's neurons in our brains that fire off, and then when we experience the same thing or something similar, it's same group, they keep firing off. The more we do that, the deeper they get. So we have these habits, whether they're good or not so good. We have these habits because these neural pathways automatically fire off. So when we start that gratitude practice, it's not a habit, right? It's not something that we're used to doing. But after we do it again and again and again, it becomes second nature. It's something that we don't even have to think about. We're on autopilot in our subconscious mind, which is where our power is. And this is where it's, for so many years, I was like, it was like, oh, felt like I was pulling stuff out of the air. But now, and again, thanks to, in part to you, Donna, I know to share about the science of it. Sean
Mhm.
Agor, coolest job title of anybody I've ever heard. He's a happiness researcher. And he gets paid to research happiness. How cool is that?
Mhm.
So he says, and not just says, he's got the research to back it up. Just the act of looking for something to be grateful for drops our cortisol levels by 23%. That's our stress levels. To be able to
Wow.
drop our cortisol levels by 23% just by looking for something to be grateful for. And, some mornings really suck. Some mornings you're going to wake up and you'll be like, oh my God, what am I going to be grateful for? Well, I'm grateful I remembered to brush my teeth last night. It
Mm.
doesn't matter. You're going there. So, all right, you think about it, you're up here, 23% drop in cortisol. Then it gets even more interesting because then when you take it that 9 to 11 inches down to our heart, when you feel gratitude, now you're getting your body to naturally produce endorphins, dopamine, and serotonin, which are the happy hormones. So just by that simple act of thinking and starting your day with three things to be grateful for, and like really being, not just this rote repetition of the same things day after day, because then there's no feeling to that, right? But, both my kids, Chrissy, I love this. She will see a sunset on her way home from work. She'll pull over, take a picture of it, and then send it to me because without even, I wasn't aware of all of this when I was raising them when they were little. But I had that natural gratitude practice already in place and was able to show her, not just teach her by telling it, but she got to witness all of that with me. So if there's only one takeaway from this conversation, for anybody, like, okay, where do I start to start moving towards the life that I know is possible? Start with gratitude. And
Mm.
it means on the hardest of days, in the hardest of situations because, again, we don't know what other people are dealing with. We never know what other people are dealing with. And a lot of people are walking around really carrying a lot of heavy, heavy stuff. But when in the midst of those heavy things, you can find gratitude, it really changes things. I mean, good Lord, you know how much I've been through with my husband's health. We're coming up on his 20th rebirthday on June 1st. It'll be 20 years since he received his life saving liver transplant. Those were really, really tough years. Um, but I was able to find gratitude through that. We've been through more physical, more health challenges, and I've still been able to find the gratitude in it. And have there been days when it's just like, um, did you get a text from me the other day, Ms. Cravata? but
I
I
did.
managed, but I managed to find some gratitude in that day anyway.
Mhm. Yeah, and I would just like to lay a little more science on this. I
Okay.
was listening to an interview this morning, and I don't remember the exact number, but it was around 35,000 choices, decisions we make every single day. And out of those 35,000, 95% of them are subconscious. So if those
Yep.
subconscious decisions that you're making are around gratitude, around happiness, around, choosing the good, choosing the light, choosing the positive, um, and that becomes your go-to. How many times, like, that's like, I don't know what the math is. Math is not my thing. Words are my thing.
Right.
But, you know, figure, let's just say random 30,000 times a day, you're making a decision or a choice that has a positive action and reaction. What can that do? What can that do to you? What could that do for your health? What could that do for the people around you? When I used to live and work in New York City, I used to do this thing, and this is before I knew any of this. This is like 30 years ago. I would walk down the street, and the streets were packed with people, and I would smile for a block, big toothy smile, and see people's reaction, and it was always really receptive, right? The next block, I'd put, like, a shitty grin on my face and be like, scowl at people, and people would, like, literally repel from you. It's
Yep.
amazing. It's really amazing, like, what you can it's almost like a tuning fork, you are a tuning fork, and, like, what you attract and repel what you do.
Yes, exactly. And if I could take that 95% just a little bit deeper, and our subconscious mind, I could spend hours on that because that is what's so fascinating to me. Our subconscious mind is where our power is. And I think I posted a picture on LinkedIn in the past couple of days. I don't remember where I put this, but it was a picture that I've had for years of an iceberg, from the side. And what we see above is like 5% above the waterline. That's our conscious mind. So,
Mhm.
what's that 95% underneath? That's our subconscious mind. That's where our power is. And that's where the magic is. That's why my first day of hypnosis training, now I've been trained, I have certifications up one side and down the other. The reason I call myself an integrative hypnotist is because you bet I do hypnosis. I've been doing hypnosis as we've been talking here today, right? The kind of hypnosis that people see in the movies of, you conk out. That's all, yeah, like that's just right. I do conversational hypnosis. And if you want to delve really into this, you can look at how hypnosis can be taken an extreme further in brainwashing, and we see this manipulating in media and people wanting to get their message out and whatever, or you can use it for good. And when you realize that you can harness your subconscious mind and you can start laying down these new neural pathways of how you want your life to be, how you want you set that GPS, you set that end destination, and you can make it happen, and you can make it happen this easily. It is game changing and mind blowing.
Yeah, and when you really learn how to incorporate this And you when you let me backtrack. When you accept Stephanie's invitation and you learn how to do these things on your own, you get to control your own GPS, and
Yes.
you get to make decisions consciously and subconsciously throughout the day. And like when you're making the decisions consciously, it's almost like you're training the subconscious to
Mhm.
say, um, you know, that's not how I'm not gonna do that. Like this is my instinct to do this, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do this instead.
Well, and it's that repetition.
Yes.
Transformation doesn't happen without repetition, and we know this from anytime we've tried to learn a sport, a musical instrument, anytime we wanna learn something new, it doesn't we don't go to the gym one day and like, "Whew, I'm buff," right? It takes practice and practice and practice.
You gotta keep showing
Um,
up.
so with these tools that I share, it's never, "Oh, one and done." It's, the whole reason with my book, Goodbye Anxiety, Hello Freedom, the whole reason there's 35 different, techniques in there is not because you have to learn all 35. It's because, "Oh, here's a smorgasbord." You find 2 or 3 that really work for you and action them, practice them again and again and again. That's how the real change is gonna happen, by
Exactly.
practicing them again, getting them into the subconscious mind.
Yeah, and select the ones that work for you because, you don't need a lot, and they're all super simple, and it's things that you could do that nobody needs to know you're doing anything. It's just like a little private practice within yourself, and, when life comes at you, you've got like this little gratitude, happiness arsenal in your back pocket that you can face it. And we all know it's coming. It's not going to stop. It's not going to be this glorious day where every issue in the world stops.
Right,
It's not
right.
happening.
Well, and I work mainly with women. Then secondarily, I work with children, and occasionally I'll have, guys. Usually, it's more of the female population, but this one client just popped into my head who was high up in a police department, and he was really amazed. He came in with his issue and, okay, we resolved that. Then we had a couple more sessions to play and explore, and it helped him become a better leader in his role in the police department. And so that was really interesting to me. Again, I don't work with all that many men. I'm open to it, but I just happen to attract, more women than I do men. But he was able to see how it wasn't just this one area of his life, a personal issue, but how that brought it into his ability to, you talk about, not knowing what's going to come at you when you're in a first responder position like a policeman, you know, who knows what's going to be coming at you? But when you get to, oh, I know something's gonna come at me, I just don't know when, and I'm prepared so that I can then respond, it changes everything.
It does. And here's the other part of this. It doesn't just change it for you. It changes it for everybody around you, whether it's somebody close to you, like families, friends, clients, colleagues, or just people that you don't know. I mean, think about my story again about walking down the street smiling.
Yeah,
The people that were, attracted to that, like, I could have changed somebody's day. Somebody, like, maybe they had a significant loss or something terrible happened, and somebody just smiled, and they were like, "Okay," like, the human race
yeah,
might
yeah,
be okay. So, you have this ability to affect change that's bigger than you, and it's really simple to do it. Yep, I've got those somewhere around.
and I hold this up, and it's not because I have any financial tie to it. Somebody had sent me this "You Are Beautiful" sticker, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I love that." So I keep them, and just like Donna was saying about, walking down the street in a crowded street in Manhattan and smiling, you know, I can just put these on somebody's windshield or hand it to a cashier when I'm checking out to get that smile. And so how contagious is that, right? I feel good about doing that, then the
Mhm.
cashier feels good, and then there's that ripple effect. So, and there she is with her "You
I
are
gotta
beautiful"
remember,
sticker.
you know where they're really handy? When you travel, because the people that work for, airlines and any kind of travel, you know, industry job these days it's very stressful. So I
Yeah,
hand those out and
I can
yeah,
imagine they are not getting people handing them a "You are beautiful" sticker very often, so they really do remember
no.
you.
I also leave them in restaurants when I leave a tip. I leave money and
Yeah.
and the sticker, not just the sticker. But I have we're at time, but I got a little bit more I need to talk to you. So everybody hang around a minute or two more. Um, if you actually could wave a magic wand, what would be your wish with the work that you do? Like where how would you want this to land? Like what would you like to see?
Oof, that's a big question there,
Yeah, don't take
and
20.
I know, but I'm really, like, getting a little emotional here because if I could have a magic wand and I could wave it or my fairy godmother could poof, show up and wave her magic wand, it's that I could get out there in a bigger way to impact the world. I really felt when I saw what was happening, I saw before COVID hit here in the States, I saw what was going on in Italy, and I was like, "Oh, man, I see what's coming." And I really thought, "Okay, here's my opportunity to really make a difference." And, I didn't get the traction that I would have hoped. So if I could wave a magic wand, it would not be that, "Oh, I can be successful and people can know who I am." It's that I could really get this out there in a big way and make a difference, not just for those of us over 50, but for our little ones too. Because Donna, it's so close to my heart. I really feel and believe with all of my heart that our children, teens, and young adults are the ones who have struggled the most with what we went through with the pandemic lockdown, with all the social unrest, with everything that's going on in the world, that it's kids, teens, and young adults that are struggling the most. And bare bones, long before I ever wrote the book, um, I kept saying we need to be able to teach our kids these simple skills. We need to be teaching them that. And I'm really clear now that me working one-on-one with kids is probably not the right idea because I'm like their grandmother's age. So, right? But when I can get to the adults and then that can trickle down and teach the kids, then I know I'm leaving a lasting legacy. And that is truly, if somebody could wave a magic wand, if I could wave a magic wand, that would be it.
Okay, now I'm going to share something Stephanie does not talk about nearly enough, but she has an initiative. When you buy her book, Goodbye Anxiety, Hello Freedom on Amazon, for every book that she sells, she gifts a book to a child-facing organization. So this book gets into either the hands of a child or the hands of somebody who teaches children. So go buy a book.
Yeah, and the techniques,
Yeah.
95% of the techniques in the book are simple enough to teach a 6-year-old. Because, yes, I wanna hit the 6-year-olds, but also with the 50 and above, if it's not simple, we're not gonna do it. So when
Mhm.
it's simple, we can do it and repeat and repeat. So,
Yeah. And
um, yeah, Janice, I wish, but I need to be
um,
getting into the teachers and the admin at the schools, not the kids.
yeah, I agree, Janice. I think kids will listen to her as well. Okay, we've gone over. I have one more thing that I want to bring up here, and Stephanie's doing something really special that starts tomorrow, and it's about bringing calm. And Steph, you want to share what it is?
This is a dream come true. For years I have wanted to do this, and finally everything has aligned, and I am starting tomorrow offering the first of many of these cohorts. But I'd really love to have you join me for the first one starting tomorrow for Calm and Confident You. It is a group program, and which is kind of fun because, it's really fun to go through things like this where you're with other people and there's accountability and you feel like, you've got the support. So it's a 3-week class. It is, I'm bringing my best. I'm so very excited about this. The first week, starting tomorrow, we're going to focus on calm. The next week, we're going to focus on focus, because you got to have focus to wherever your focus is where you're going to end up. So you might as well harness it to make it help you get where you want to go. And then the third week is focusing on confidence. And so it doesn't have to take, week after week after week sitting and talking about what our issues are. In 3 weeks, you will feel calm and confident you. And because I know that a lot of people are dealing with a lot of, things, um, I'm offering scholarships, and I'm not asking for details. You don't have to tell me why you want and or need a scholarship. I'm offering scholarships for it. If you want, reach out to me on LinkedIn or send me an email through my website, stephaniedalfonzo.com, and I'll give you the secret code for 50 or 75% off. We start tomorrow. The classes will be recorded, so you have to miss one. You can always catch up with the recording, but I'm very excited about this because it's a way for me to have more of an impact rather than just working with people one-on-one.
Okay. So we went over our 30 minutes, but
Yeah, surprise.
right, but the real 50 over 50 is going. We have 46 people profiles up on the website. We have interviews booked all the way to the end of December. So we are going to be here every week, live on Facebook and LinkedIn, noon Eastern time, except next week will be 11 o'clock Eastern time. But we're here every week. Please come back, bring your friends, comment, share, watch the replays, invite people. This is all about visibility. It's all about helping make a difference, collectively making a difference, and raising the voices of some pretty kick-ass women that are over 50 years old. We're not going to be forgotten. So stand by. We've got a lot of stuff going on. Anyway, thank you for coming, and thank you, Stephanie. If you're watching the replay, please leave a comment, share it, let us know what you think, and we'll be back next week.
Mwah. Thank you.